So a lot of students that are interested in studying in Russia will want to know the system of education in Russia in general. How many years maybe for a bachelor's degree, how many years for a master's degree, or if there are other methods of studying in Russia. That's why in this video, I'm going to explain in intricate details how the system of education works in Russia. So the first thing you need to understand is that the Russian system of education is a little bit different from us in Africa. For example, here in Russia, the bachelor's is 4 years. Not for all the fields, but in general, the bachelor's degree is 4 years in Russia. But for us in Africa, the bachelor's is 3 years in general. So there's a little bit of different these different nuances that we have here that we don't have in Africa. But I'm going to explain from bachelor's to master's and the other systems that are available here. So number one here we have what we call the bachelor's degrees that all of us know. We have what we call specialty that we don't usually have that in Africa. We have that what we call the master's degree that all of us know. We have PhD and we have what we call ordinatura that's related to medicine. Those are doing medicines. So number we are going to start with the bachelor's degrees. The bachelor's degree here in Russia is usually 4 years, but not in all the cases because depending on the fields of studies. For example, if you are studying a field of study that is a little bit difficult more than others, for example, someone studying maybe I don't know marketing or economics is 4 years, but someone studying something very complicated like maybe aeronautical engineering, in fact something complicated, the program can be 4 years and 4.5 years to maybe 5 years for bachelor's degree. I repeat, the program the program can be 4.5 to 5 years depending on the field of studies for bachelor's degrees. So when if you want to come to Russia to study a bachelor's degree, you need to put in your head that you are going to study minimum 4 years to get your bachelor's degree in Russia. We call that in Russia bakalav. Now that you have finished to talk about the bachelor's degree, we move to the specialty. What is specialty in Russia? In Russian language, we call that specialitet. This is a program of condensed knowledge for you to be able to get out in the market and work immediately. You understand? And this is a program of usually 5 years minimum, depending on the field of studies. If, for example, you are studying, I don't know, aeronautical engineering as a specialty, you will study that 5 years. But if you are studying aeronautical engineering as maybe a bachelor's degree, you will study usually 4 years or 4.5. But you have the possibility also to apply for masters when you have the bachelor's and when you have the specialty. Meaning, if you have a bachelor's degree, you can apply for master's degree. If you have specialty, a degree in specialty, you apply also for master's degree. But the thing is that for specialty, it is more condensed and more intense with practicals that prepare you for the job market immediately, which is a little bit different from bachelor's degree. That's why for specialty, it's usually more years. For example, if someone who wants to study cyber security, there's that field in bachelor's and there's cyber security in specialty too. But in bachelor's it will be 4 years, but in specialty it will be around 5 years, I think 5 or 6 years. So you can notice here that the same field of study, there is that in bachelor's and there is the same field of study in specialty, but in specialty is more, it takes more time to get the degree because specialty is more condensed with more practices to get you ready for the job market. So if you don't want to study much, maybe you want to study a full course complete and you want to get immediately in the job market, I would advise you to go to specialty. But it's important to note here that it's not all the fields that are available in bachelor's and also available in specialty. There are some fields that are not available in specialty. For example, if you take construction, we have construction in bachelor's, and as we can say civil engineering, we have civil engineering in bachelor's, and you have also civil engineering in specialty. But the civil engineering specialty is not civil engineering as a normal civil engineering. That civil engineering specialty is what we call civil engineering of special buildings, meaning those big towers that you see in Dubai, those tall buildings that you see in Dubai in different pictures, those buildings made up of different materials. In fact, that's not the same as the civil engineering, the normal civil engineering of buildings that were built with different bricks, because when you are studying civil engineering of special buildings, it is more complicated. Civil engineering of special building is more complicated. That's why it is in the program of specialty. But if you are studying, if you are going to bachelor, the civil engineering that you will be studying are the civil engineering of normal buildings, that where all of us live. But that civil engineering is made up for special building, meaning for towers, for big, very big, complicated types of buildings. So that's a little bit it for specialty. So specialty usually is more than 4 years, meaning more than bachelor's degree, and more intense and more condensed. So if you want to study, and if you don't want to do long studies, you can go to specialty. You focus for maybe 5 years or 6 years, or depending on the field of studies. As I said, it's not obliged that it will be 5 years. It can be 6 years depending on the field. If it's a very difficult field, you can go to 6 years for specialty. Now you have master's degree. Master's degree usually is 2 years or 2.5 for almost all the fields. Maybe three, but usually two maximum for almost all the different fields of studies. So and then you have what we call, as I mentioned, we have what we call ordinatura, meaning specialty in medicine. So here in Russia, those who come to study medicine here in Russia, you have you study 6 years of general medicine. 6 years, I think 5 or 6. I don't remember, but 5 or 6 years of general medicines. After you study these 5 or 6 years, you move now to specialty. You specialize on something, in something very specific after the 6 years, and that's what we call ordinatura, meaning your specialization in medicine. So these are the different the different groups, or the how can I say, the difference, or the different system of education in Russia as compared to what we have in Africa. And the good thing in Russia too is that you can study every field, almost all the different fields, no matter what you did in your country. Even if you did maybe, I don't know, physics in your country, you can come here. Maybe you have bachelor's degrees in physics, you can come here, do masters, you go maybe to mechanics, or here to get admission is not usually difficult like in other countries. Here you can study literally the field of your choice, no matter the field you did in the past. If you want to study aeronautical engineering, you study. You want to study civil engineering, you study. No matter the field you want to study, you will study. But just be ready to study, because sometimes the school in Russia is not that easy, because it's intense. It's not a joke. So I think I already explained all the difference, the system of education in Russia, for those who are interested in studying in Russia, or for those who don't think Russia is an option for them. I think Russia is a very good country, and even better than most of the European countries or Canada, because here the job market is abundant. There are a lot of jobs, and you can literally work here and manage to pay your school fees yourself if you focus the first year, because everything is the first year. So a good integration in Russia will determine your long stay in Russia. That's why I think a lot of people should. That's why I think if you want to come to Russia, you need to come to a good city, especially if you are the one who is going to take care of yourself as you arrive. Because some people, when they come, they have their parents pay their school fees and all of that stuff. But if you are coming and you are the one who's going to take care of you, you are going to pay your school fees, you are going to pay for your food, everything. You need to come to a good city where there are jobs, and you need to learn the language, because the language in Russia is very important. If you know English, yes, it can be a plus, but that will be in big cities. Most of the different jobs that are in Russia, the English language will not help you. The English language will not help you that much. Most people here speak Russian, but there is the possibility to give English classes as a job, but it's not that easy for everyone. It's not for everyone. You need to have a good accent, and to be able for them to accept you, because if you come with a very thick accent, it will be a little bit difficult for you to to give English classes, because the student will not understand what you're saying, because your accent is a little bit different. And I want also to mention that if you want to come to Russia, it's not obliged to come to Russia for studies. Meaning, the way to come to Russia is through a student visa, but that doesn't mean that you will come and study. You can come and take maybe evening classes in a normal field, maybe, I don't know, management. That way you don't even have to study that much. It's not that difficult. These are fields that are not so difficult when you take, especially when you do evening classes. You just go to school 3 times a week, and sometimes even online, 3 times a week, 2 to 3 hours in school online. So all your time, you just take your time and be working. You work, you do your jobs, you get your money. I think everybody should know what he wants when it comes to Russia. If you know that you don't want to study, when you finish the language course, if you don't want to study, when you finish the language course, you just take evening classes and you do your jobs, you get your money. But if you came to study, you take full time classes and you focus on your studies because it's not easy. So as we come to the end of this video, I think I explained everything. And if there's something that is not understood, you can leave it in the comment so that I should make another video and explain again the system of education in Russia. So see you in the next video.